So not only it didn't live up to the hype, it didn't live up to anything. Now, a lot of people were watching last night on Netflix with the comeback of Mike Tyson against YouTube star Jake Paul, who has been a fighter on and off for the last couple of years. Paul won the fight via unanimous decision, but one of the most interesting comments of the evening, one longtime boxing organizer called the fight silly. Now, it is highly anticipated tilt featured Iron Mike in his first professional bout in quite a number of years on Friday night, November 15th in Arlington, Texas, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Fighting in front of 72,300 fans at AT&T Stadium, the home of the former world champions, Paul controlled most of the fight against Tyson, winning via unanimous decision after all three judges ruled in his favor with scores of 80-72, 79-73, and 79-73, which means Tyson only won one round on the scorecards with the three judges. With the victory, Paul improves to 11-1 in his pro career, including 7 knockouts, and becomes the 6th fighter to defeat the Hall of Famer in his career. First and foremost, Mike Tyson is such an honor. Paul told Tyson after the match, "He's the GOAT, and I look up to him. I'm inspired by him, and we wouldn't be here today without him. This man is an icon, and it's just an honor to be able to fight him." Now, the opening rounds were fairly tame, as the two boxers got acclimated to each other's fight styles. Tyson, who hadn't fought in a pro bout in 19 years, came out aggressively in the third round, lunging forward with hard punches and clipping Paul early. However, Paul responded several moments later, catching Tyson with several well-thrown punches, appearing to rock the former multi-time heavyweight champion. The 58-year-old started to show signs of fatigue for the first time in the match and became stationary. He never displayed the dips, slips, or explosions forward with haymakers that once earned him 44 knockouts. Roy Jones Jr., the former multi-time world champion, whom Tyson last fought in exhibition in November 2020, was on the broadcast panel and noted Tyson's lack of movement. "I don't like Mike's legs. I don't like Mike's legs at all." Now, Paul continued to take control of the fight from there, landing his combinations and giving Tyson trouble with his jabs. Tyson showed bursts of energy throughout the later rounds, but never proved to be a real threat. The pair was originally scheduled to fight in July this year, but it was postponed when Tyson experienced an ulcer flare-up on the flight. Now, Tyson was asked after the bout if he felt like he proved to the world that he could go in the distance despite his age. "I didn't prove nothing to anybody, only to myself. I'm not one of those guys that looks to please the world. I'm just happy with what I can do." Now, his pro career, Tyson was known for his brutal knockouts, winning in emphatic fashion against legends such as Michael Spinks and Larry Holmes. His last professional victory was in February 2003, where he defeated Clifford Etienne with a first-round knockout. His last fight was an exhibition bout against Jones Jr. in November 2020, which finished as a draw. Now, that fight, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't as important monetarily as this one was. Some people thought this was going to bring back Tyson in a big way, but it really didn't. Now, Friday's bout was perhaps the most high-profile fight to date for Paul, who had an unconventional introduction to boxing, which he said started as a whole YouTube extravaganza. People challenged him and his brother Logan, of course, Logan Paul, the WWE wrestler who was U.S. champion for a while this year. Now, in January 2020, Paul entered the ring for his first pro fight, beating YouTuber Ali Essangib by TKO. Now, since his debut, he's gone on to defeat retired basketball player Nate Robinson and former MMA legends Tyson Woodley, Anderson Silva, and Nate Diaz. In February last year, Paul suffered his first loss at the hands of Tommy Fury, the younger brother of former heavyweight title holder Tyson Fury. Now, Paul did bounce back from the loss with a unanimous decision over retired UFC fighter Diaz. In his past few fights, he defeated pro boxers Andre August and Ryan Borland, as well as bare-knuckle boxing champion Mike Perry. Now, Netflix viewers had a hard time with the fight last night. They reported widespread issues of the streaming. Now, Friday night's fight was Netflix's first live boxing event that includes 7 action-packed bouts. However, viewers on social media reported that throughout the fight, they were having trouble watching the event on streaming platform. Some of the issues included buffering delays, lags, and trouble loading the fight. According to Down Detector, around 90,000 viewers reported outages in an hour leading up to the fight. Now, some social media viewers posted images of their frozen TV screens and others of the spinning loading wheel, saying they had to reload the app in order to watch it. Another reported problem was sound for the broadcast, most notably during the interview with Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. As he was speaking to other analysts, Jones' microphone didn't seem to be working, making it hard for viewers to hear what he was saying. Netflix declined to comment on the issues. Now, this is the biggest event. Paul said its success and about. Over 120 million people on Netflix, we crashed the site. Now, the streaming platform will next show 2 NFL games on Christmas Day after signing a 3-season deal with the league. Also starting in 2025, WWE's weekly Raw show will be featured on the platform. Now, in the co-main event, it was the second installment of Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. The crowd and commentators erupted in disbelief and boos when Taylor was awarded a unanimous decision victory. The two fighters put on a master class, Serrano being the aggressor and Taylor lunging forward with power shots, often clashing heads with the challenger. In the 8th round, the champion was deducted a point for a Fort-ruled headbutt. Serrano seemed to be in control and was blindsided by the decision. After the fight, Serrano called Taylor a dirty fighter. According to CompuBox, Serrano outlanded the champion 324-217. Well, rip-off fights are just commonplace on major cards. Now, how does this compare with other major cards that were held in Vegas and different places? Now, to say Mike Tyson was past his prime would say that an unopened fridge with food in it for 4 years is still tasty. Mike Tyson basically, I don't know how much he was paid for this. It's really none of my business because Mike Tyson has been invaluable for boxing. But his key eras of boxing was, again, from the mid-1980s when he was champion, losing to Douglas and, of course, his feud with Holyfield through the years. What really hurt, I think, the event, there was no Michael Buffer or Buffer's brother announcing in the ring. There's no great boxing color commentators before. And in the words of my good pal, Scotty Bulldog Olsen, you're only as good as your last fight. Bulldog went out as a world flyweight champion with dignity. He lost to Michael Carbajal, and he lost a couple of rough fights as well. But he was always a dignified fighter. There's no dignity in Mike Tyson. This is a convicted rapist. This person has been a thug pretty well all his life. Yes, he's had better moments in recent years, but I remember him as a person that allegedly was a wife abuser. He thought everybody should kiss his arse. And I get no satisfaction doing this podcast. Actually, the only reason I'm doing this because I had banned Mike Tyson from this channel for a number of years. But in doing so, I hope this is the last we hear of Mike Tyson in a ring because I didn't think he was any good for any more for 2 rounds. And, that's what it was. Sure, he looked in good shape, but a lot of old heavyweights have stayed around in their 50s and 60s. Look at Larry Holmes. So the big winner of this is, of course, Netflix. They're trying the new sporting aspect, and good luck to them because there's a lot of possibilities there. But like I said, a lot of people that's under the age of 30 never saw Mike Tyson fight. So that was something too. It's YouTube meets boxing. And pro boxing is probably not going to reach the heights it did in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And because we don't have a Mike Tyson, we don't have, they needed Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson was, again, bad for society. He ushered in a new era of basically misogyny and anger and stuff like that. Instead of, as bad as Larry Holmes was for his connections with the mafia, Tyson was 10 times worse. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, it's the story of the non-fight of the century. If you like what you're doing here with our sporting podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.